I don't even know how to start this other than I love ice cream. And so Eccles Ice Cream Fountain in Pennsylvania is still open to this day. And they have a Girl Interrupted Sundae.
However, when you go into the facts, it's a Boston thing. She says sprinkles, and it's supposed to be Jimmy's.
Jimmy's.
That's how they call sprinkles.
Really?
So that was a big goof.
Yeah, you were talking about the goofs off camera.
Goofs in the film.
I caught a lot of them without looking them up, just because I don't usually look anything up until after I see it. I want to, like, an audience perspective. That's what I like. I like to enjoy the film and things. So I didn't look anything up until afterwards, but you could see all kinds of things that didn't make any sense. And then when you looked, oh yeah, okay, yep.
I too watched the movie first and then go through the trivia part, and then I actually went back to the on scene, and I'm like, oh, holy crap, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Then you see that, because some of the scenes go by so quickly, like we were talking about the mailbox. She's getting into the cab to go to Claymore, and you're seeing the mailboxes.
Right.
And then
well, there are even cars in the background. I really enjoy cars, and there are cars in the background. I'm like, yeah, that's newer than 67.
did not follow the timeline for research on following this.
Even some of the furniture, I guess you probably would call it, in amenities were not from 67 things. So it was funny.
I think what's so fun for me, showing a little bit of my vulnerability here, I was born in 67.
Sure.
So to see this time frame and this timeline come out,
yeah,
pretty eye-opening.
So this is a memoir that was Winona Ryder herself purchased the rights to do a film
On Susanna Kaysen.
Yep. And you were talking about how much she hated it, and I saw some of that too, but there's not a lot of information on that and why. However, what did you say? She
was not a fan of this, and she called it melodramatic drivel.
Sure.
And wanted nothing to do with it.
And how old was she? Because this was her in high school, if I'm not mistaken.
But
this was her the 67 to 69. She was in a mental institution.
I thought it was after she got out of high school, because she's flashing. That's kind of what I got out of it. So
what I saw was that she's really like 18, 19 years old when she's in the mental institution.
I thought she was older. I thought it was starting. Well, maybe you are right. Maybe
that's
so.
What I had seen. I don't know.
I thought it was kind of the getting ready to start college. Well, yeah, maybe 18. Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what I don't understand with this being adapted to film, why it was so different from the memoir. Obviously, a film, you want it to be a little spicier, of course, some of that kind of thing. The question that I had in my mind was, I think back at like high school and right out of high school and things, and I mean, we're stupid, immature, idiotic, gossipy idiots. I mean, you could say a whole bunch of
young, dumb, full of.
I mean, all kinds of things, right? And so, does she remember it wrong? That's the only thing I was thinking when I saw that. I was like, this made total sense to me. I mean, you could see some of this stuff, like, not even in a mental institution, girls being as catty as they are and picking on each other like that, and cliquey and all those things. You know where I'm going with it? Like, is she being overly critical and not really remembering what it was like?
I think, obviously, her diagnosis is borderline personality.
Which she wrote her memoirs 30 years later, or 26 years later.
And I do agree with some part of that diagnosis, where she's losing spaces of time.
Yeah.
She's falling asleep all the time. She's seeing things. She's seeing auditory.
Yeah.
And she's seeing these things, and she's just really not with it. I think she also has a fascination of death. Henceforth, bottle of aspirin, bottle of vodka. I'm not trying to kill myself. And then she's picking at her bones.
Right.
So I do think that she has parts of that, but at the same time, I think it's just the life. She's not as crazy as who she's instituted with.
Right. But when you're looking back at something, I think sometimes it's easy to think and try to make ourselves look a little bit better and more sane than we were, even when we're sane. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You look back at things, and I'd say a few years ago now, but I was talking to a buddy of mine that I had been friends with since 12 years old. And I'm like, dude, that is not what happened. We were probably 16 or 17 at the time, and he was telling
a lot of things
story.
Get embellished.
And I'm like, that is not at all what I remember.
It's kind of like the fishtail; it gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yes, exactly. And so that's what I was thinking about when I saw that about what she had said is I'm like, I don't know if you're remembering it correctly. I mean, I think that it made sense to me. The girls being catty like that, being mean to each other.
Yeah, mean girls.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
But I also think too, writing her memoir all these years later, you want to sell the script. So I honestly don't believe that some of this stuff even happened.
No, for sure. Some of the stuff, yeah.
But you have to spice it for reading, for her novel purposes.
Yeah.
And for the movie purposes.
And exactly. That's a good point, because it's a memoir. It's not a biography. It's not actually based specifically on fact. It's based off of what I remember, essentially.
And
I think because biographies there's a certain set of rules that you have to kind of go through and be critiqued on in order to call it a biography, that it has to be within X amount of accuracy.
You definitely have to have sources to corroborate your.
Yeah.
And there's no one there to refute it.
Right. No, so it's interesting. I don't know. I think that the movie itself was really good. I think even though some of the actresses and things had to be replaced for different purposes, scheduling issues and a couple things, I think that it ended up being almost a perfect cast. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've never been a massive fan of Winona Ryder. You said off camera, say what you said off camera, like how you didn't like her acting in this. You didn't think it was on par as it should be. And I agree. I don't think she did bad, but I agree. But I think that's my bias as well.
I think, obviously, Angelina Jolie stole it.
Oh,
for sure. And her winning the Oscar, deservedly.
Yeah.
I love the fact that, once again, method actor, she completely distanced herself from Winona Ryder to keep up that sociopath.
Yeah.
If I had any feeling towards her, I could not have done this role.
Yeah.
And it was really kind of weird. Elisabeth Moss, who played Polly, who was also now in Handmaidens and big Netflix, whatever. And Clea DuVall, and I love Clea DuVall.
I do too.
Clea is one of those that, once again, does not get enough credit for the work she's done.
Yeah.
She was in the Matthew Shepard. She actually did an episode of Saving Grace.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Love her in Saving Grace.
Sure.
They actually had a camp. So they had the Winona camp, and they had the Jolie camp.
Really?
And kind of cliquey.
Sure.
And
are you saying in real life or in the film?
No, in real life.
In real life.
In real life, they had the clique. They had certain ones that would hang with. And Elisabeth Moss said that she was totally intimidated by Angelina Jolie. I think I would be too.
I would be too. I mean,
she'd be ready to kick the shit out of me.
Yeah. She's intimidating.
She's intimidating. So, and Clea and Elisabeth Moss said she was completely intimidated by her. Years later, as they talk down the road, as they're older, they find out what great people they are.
Sure.
But there was this division of camps.
Wow.
But yeah, I love the all-star cast. We were talking, Brittany Murphy did a great job as Daisy Randoon. What they went through for personal circumstances to get themselves institutionalized was something. Clea DuVall being a pathological liar, addicted to Wizard of Oz.
Right.
Odd. Then you have Elisabeth Moss, who's scarred, lights a match over an animal.
Well, but was that real? Because that story was told through the pathological liar's point of view.
Well, no, but remember...
But then there was another scene.
When they went in and were reading each other's files.
Yeah, and so that was...
because you see the picture of her, and she's got the clear face, and now she's got half a face. And then there was that
article of... Yeah, okay. And that's what I thought, too. I just wanted to make sure I didn't rewind it and really look at it again.
And I thought, I really thought that Whoopi Goldberg did a great job as Valerie.
The only thing I've seen Whoopi Goldberg in that I enjoyed was actually Star Trek. That was a kind of an interesting, powerful female character, and at the time, you got Picard played by obviously one of the greats that we have now. You have some of those kind of things that she was, as the character, you're pushing back against, and I thought that was really good. I don't think she did bad. I didn't like her in it. I don't care for her anymore. She's gone really a very different direction in life and has very, very weird views of reality. I mean, it's just, I've really looked at some of the things that she said, like, they just seem so far-fetched, and you look at the reality of it and the facts, and it's like not even close. And so that's a bias that I have with her now.
I have a little bit of a bias too, but I admired, my favorite role for her was The Color Purple. I thought she did a great job in that movie.
Sure.
And that movie made it a killing.
Yeah.
But what I admired...
Also not actually a true story.
But
people
it was still a great...
Yeah.
And it killed it at the box office.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you have people like Michelangelo that were totally with this, on board with that too. So that made its role in Hollywood history.
For sure.
But I did like the part I did like the part of it where she kind of sort of played that empathetic nurse. That was a part that I liked.
Yeah, and she saw the value and the capabilities of pretty much all of them and things. So yeah, obviously Angelina Jolie's character Lisa, she did not see. I mean, it was there for 8 years. She wasn't trying to get better, just
But she
saw to destroy everybody else around her.
But she saw in Susanna, get out of here in a year. Don't anchor yourself here.
Right.
I really admire that. For the life of me, and I don't even know why they even bothered to have him in here, but he was a nice addition, was Jared Leto. He played Tobias, and I, for the life of me, don't understand really why he was even in it.
I didn't understand it
for
either.
A split second, and I think it was just basically for the eye candy.
Sure.
Because let me say, the man's cute. But I just don't understand.
You like young guys.
He
28 years old.
He was good looking. Oh my God, he was good looking, and I will admit that over and over and over again.
I think he pulled off the '60s look too, like the way. I don't know if his beard was real or not, and his hair probably wasn't, but
I think he mimicked the cab driver at that time. The cab driver had a beard.
Yeah.
Facial hair was in.
Yeah, no, and I don't know if it was real as far as his own, or if it was, but they did it. It looked very 60s good,
I do love the fact that they brought out the draft. However, that's one of those other goofs.
Yes.
The draft didn't happen until like 68 in December.
And so
your number came up in 68, not in 67.
Right, and that's where I don't know, because how long had she been in? Because she went in 67. So how long had she been in when he came and visited?
To my knowledge, she was institutionalized for a year.
Okay, so
that's
it was
what
68 of some time that she got out.
And he was trying to bust her out in that first year, and the draft hadn't even...
$5,000 to go to Canada.
And the draft hadn't taken place until 68.
Sure.
So that's another one of the, and I don't know if you caught the trivia on that too with JFK's campaign.
That was Robert.
Or Robert, excuse me. Robert. That was off by a year or two.
Yep. No, that should have been the next year. That was absolutely. That was interesting.
And I really like
because they showed that when she was being brought in. Yeah, and that should have been a year later.
And a lot of people don't like him, but he's one of those that he entertains me, is Jeffrey Tambor. He played Dr. Potts.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. Yeah,
I like him. Yeah. He's not in a lot of huge roles.
Right.
In fact, his daughter is more popular than he was.
Yeah.
Because she played in House.
Yeah.
And I loved House.
Yeah, that was a good
series.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really, and I don't know if we talked about Dr. Wick, but I really loved Vanessa Redgrave.
Yeah, I do too.
Iconic female actor.
Yeah, I do too.
Just whole.
Yeah, every role that
her
she's in.
Her and her sister, Lynn Redgrave, they're just amazing powerhouse women.
Sure.
Just.
Yep.
But I have to say that some of the scenes that were really hard, where you can see where Lisa Rowe, that sociopath, comes out hard, is when Daisy hangs herself. Mm-hmm. Pretty much willing her to, why don't you just do it anyway?
Right.
Gets her to do it because that was Lisa's thing. She controlled everybody on the block, so to speak.
Right.
And to see that, somebody hanging there. And
it just, let's go.
Let's go.
I know.
That was cold.
Yeah.
But did she nail it?
Oh.
Absolutely nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
For sure.
I really, and what I like too is, and Winona Ryder, just because of her picking up the rights to this book, she had a lot of play. She was able to handpick her director, Mangold, to play it. I also did my research too. There was a lot of cool actresses that really wanted to pick up this role. Christina Ricci, Kate Hudson.
Yeah.
Katie Holmes, Alanis Morissette.
Yeah.
Okay, Alanis Morissette. Okay.
And it's interesting because it did not do well. It barely made its money back.
Yeah.
Barely.
But like everything else, it picks up. Down the road.
Yeah.
And I did not know this, but I had no idea that Courtney Love also applied for this role.
Yeah.
It was like, Courtney Love, what?
She wouldn't have had to act.
She's batshit crazy.
People would have died.
Yeah.
I mean, for real.
Honestly, for real.
She would have, brought people to really hang themselves. And I shouldn't say that, but she's nuts.
Mm-hmm. Certifiably.
Yes, absolutely.
I really enjoyed this film a lot. I recommend it.
I liked it a lot more than I thought, Sherry.
Yeah, I have seen it numerous times. It never gets old for me. In fact, it's one of those films that each time you watch it, you pick up another nuance of another layer to the movie.
Sure, yeah, I bet. I've only seen it the one time.
I've seen it about 5 now.
Yeah.
Adding this one. But I'm a fan of, I have to admit, I am a fan of Angelina Jolie. I've seen everything she's been in.
Okay.
I really, really admire her as an actor. Not so much as a person, but as an actress, I do.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've talked about that too. People that are not good people, but their art is phenomenal.
See, and for me, Winona Ryder, she's always going to be one of those rom-com. Obviously, I think one of her greatest roles for her anyway is Autumn in New York.
Sure. With
Greer. And I remember the Welcome Home Roxy, cheesy, one of her very first.
She was better younger than I think as she was getting older.
Not to mention the fact that she is a Minnesota girl.
Yeah. Barely,
but
I mean, she didn't live here really for very long.
Not for really long, but she's Faribault.
Yeah. Well, she was born in Winona.
In Winona, but but she's going to be known for like her last movie that she did with Keanu Reeves, The Destination Wedding.
Oh, yeah.
She's just going to be, and not to mention, did you see that line, the very first thing, well, do you dream of taking money from taking cash? And she gets picked up for shoplifting how many years later?
I know.
Like, wow. Is that just not $6,000
worth
karma?
Of... Yeah, I know. Absolutely.
Like, what? Wow. Yeah. That was kind of ironic for me. I was like, okay. But I could not see any. I mean, could you see Katie Holmes as Lisa Rowe? Not at all. I mean, Dawson's Creek fame.
No, I wouldn't expect her to be applying for that type of a role.
Christina Ricci, a little bit darker.
Yeah, totally.
Kate Hudson.
No. She would have had a hard time playing any of the roles, in my opinion. In here, she's not that.
I didn't like her in 10 Ways to Lose a. I know that her main was Matthew McConaughey. A lot of films, but can't see her doing that.
I would say that, it's definitely, if you like to watch a film that's not full of a bunch of garbage CGI stuff, and you want to see a film that was actually, based off of some real things in life, it's a solid film. I'll probably not watch it again. If it came on and there was nothing else to do, I would, but it was good enough to say it was good.
Some of it to me was just so...
And that's why I love doing this too, I should say. It's not, because I would never be cultured like this like I am now.
Going out of your comfort zone to watch something that somebody else is picking.
Yeah.
For me, a lot of it was just unrealistic. In an actual nut house or mental institution, you would not be missing long to go bowling.
No.
You would not be able to get into the office to read a record.
No, absolutely not.
Seeing her journal, absolutely.
Not even in the 60s.
No.
I mean, no way.
No.
Yeah.
And to have that ward not completely cleaned up and no. Yeah, that's not going to happen. So the unrealistic part of some of this is like...
Yeah, totally.
But her journaling, absolutely.
Yeah,
writing
cool.
about them, can see that.
Yeah, absolutely. That was cool.
So a lot of fiction with some fact. Yeah. I would say more fiction than fact.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why a memoir is that way. Mm-hmm. I think that it's just a lot of
no one to refute it.
Exactly. Yeah, this is my story, and that's it.
Gotta stick to it.
Yeah. So, hey, tell us what you think of Girl Interrupted if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, will you see it? And well, never mind. Let's just do the email.
Yeah. Why don't you do it? Because I forgot it again. Is
LegitQ at Maddie'sMovieMix.com.
I will get this. That is a mouthful.
Right. Yeah, it is.
It is, but it's you.
Yep.
So, yes, this was fun.
It was.
See ya.
Next week.
That was fun.